another Dallas, Texas check.
All right, it's your girl, Luscious Barbie. Another Dallas, Texas check. We're here at the Breakfast Brothers, and we're here with
Rickey Booker.
Rickey. Let me know. Okay, so I've been sitting here talking to you. You've been telling me your story, and I was gonna wait until we could hit the podcast, but I just can't wait. Mm-hmm. So let us know how you got started. Give me the description of the vibe.
Well, you say that everything you do is true, real, and rap.
Yeah, this is real and raw.
So I always try to kind of go away from them. But we started this 5 years ago. We had a gentleman's club called King of Diamonds. Mm-hmm. We had a little black trailer in the back. We nicknamed it Little Black Shack, which one of the cooks named it that. And we was in the back of there cooking the food. It was a small menu then, so we had pork chops, catfish. We didn't have a full menu. And from that point, it just took off. People was lined up to like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning buying the food. And not only if you was already a clientele to come look at the entertainment at King of Diamonds, you also was coming for the food at this point. Mm-hmm. And it just grew and grew and grew from that point. So the problem is the building owner at the building at the particular time, we end up having to move because the building was coming up for a sale and we was a subleaser. So we decided to move the Little Black Shack to our other club, which is Pink Lounge. Mm-hmm. Pink Lounge is still going and kicking strong. Right. So we put it in the back and started a R&B Friday night with a local promotion team. Yeah. And when they finally got the team and the food started growing, 700, 600 plus every Friday coming to the club, coming to eat. We even had official county workers at Louisburg Jail coming and ordering the food and coming in the back and getting the food. Yeah. So they was lined up getting food for a long time. Right. Until the city, somebody told the city that we had a trailer back to cooking food. So when the code compliance came back to see what was going on, where all the traffic was coming from, he said, "You're not supposed to be cooking in this thing." I didn't know nothing about no permits. I'm just cooking the food for people and having doing what it is I love and the ingredients. And he said we had to move it. I was, shocked. We had propane tanks hanging out the back door. Electrical.
I know that hits your stomach too. It's like, this my money.
Tabletop fryers. Yeah. But it did what it did, and so at this point, the local promoters, we seen how it adjusted the numbers. Went from 600, 700 people coming to 300 to 200 to 100. People wanted the food. Not only they was coming to the club, they wanted that food. So, one thing led to another. I had to move, and nothing I could do about it. We didn't have a kitchen in the club. We didn't have a food truck. So another idea came to mind, and a conversation came up between an individual. And she told me, "I know where they got a kitchen, and they getting ready to get rid of the cooks." And I said, "Okay, cool." So I figured out to go talk to the owner of the club, and I did. And I said, "Man, this is the deal. I want to bring Breakfast over here, Breakfast Brothers over here, lease your kitchen. I do the full staffing. I pay my own staff and everything." He was on board. We did a year's lease and started. And I think 2 years strong up until a month ago, and that was DG's.
Yeah. And that was crazy because it's like, okay, I can go to the strip club and get some bomb food. And I started to notice that people was posting more about the food than they was about the strippers or about, it was more like taking over their whole marketing plan because now people are coming to eat, that's amazing because not a lot of people can do that.
And then when I knew that we may had something, the people that didn't wasn't a regular strip club follower or goer, they start calling our line. We had a Google number and ordering food, sitting outside in the parking lot. And we had what you call a flex machine where you can pay with a credit card outside. So all the cashiers was going outside and paying and getting the people's orders. So we had curbside going before we even knew curbside was available until pandemic hit. So we was doing that for people that want a strip club. Yeah. And from the beginning, the valet company didn't really like it because people pull up, just come get food and leave. So we worked and made those adjustments and it started working. Yeah. And then from that point, another corporation got with me that has masses of strip clubs. RCI have strip clubs across the country. From Ecstasy, Silver City, even Bombshells, all the companies that they own. We want to try that. So I had a meeting with them, DP of that company, and then we moved in their first one, the trial basis, which is Cabaret East. They loved the idea. Then next thing you know, what I told you earlier, they gave me all the Rick's brand. Rick's Cabaret DFW, Rick's Fort Worth, Rick's Lubbock, Rick's San Antonio, and Austin. And then the pandemic hit. Cleared it all out. But
that didn't stop you, though.
No, I didn't, because
Give me something. That didn't stop you. I mean, the pandemic, that didn't hold you.
Because the thing is about when you get a brand that people want, a product that people want. And then, of course, the number one thing, when God is involved in it, I don't care what going on in the world.
Nothing in the way.
Can't stop it. Even if, if I, knock on wood or find someone, if I walk out here and get hit by a truck, nothing can stop this because it's already in motion.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we end up getting a food truck because I've seen how people was the DoorDash, the Uber Eats, all them companies, their value of those increased because now you at home and people are ordering food, curbside. So I said, we get a food truck, we can just pull up in these areas. So once again, I still don't know about permits.
Right.
So once I figured out how that works, I had to get a permit in Arlington, Dallas area. Now we can pull up anywhere we want to in our food truck and sell food. So when the pandemic hit again, the corona hit again and shut things down again, the percentage was going up. So we had the food truck. I said, when it come back open, we got to get our own restaurant.
Yeah.
So, when we decided to do that, neighbor next door, which is a salon, she told us this space was available. And we came and did it, and we got with a local architect firm here in Dallas that's huge, that do a lot of major restaurants, gentlemen's clubs, bars, nightclubs that nobody even knew, and they designed it, and he designed this.
Yeah,
came up with the renderings.
Tell me about the aesthetic. Like, let them know what is. Okay, so we see this back here. This back here.
The thing is about what I say, where anytime I walk in this building, every morning, every night, if I'm sitting here relaxing, I can always look at this tin building. Sometimes you look at it, this whole thing, you got the lights and the walls and the painting and the pictures, and then you look at this tin wall and like, what the heck is that? That we cooked for 4 or 5 years inside the little black shack that made this vision. So that's the reason why.
So this is your vision board right here. Right. This is like every day you remind me.
Literally, when I say that's the exact tin wall frame that covered that whole little black shack. And even when you go on the inside, you just seen the inside of this. So it wasn't no insulation, no nothing. A floor. So that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even, when they told me I had to get a venter hood, I said, okay, cool. I went down to the local Home Depot and drilled a hole in the roof, had my guy drill a hole and put a little small venter hood in.
Yeah.
They told me venter hood, I didn't know they meant a commercial one. It cost more than the trailer did.
Right.
So,
but I love that though, because a lot of people get discouraged because they feel like, oh, I have to have all these things in line, when it's like you just went for it. You just like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'm learning along the way, and then you end up here, and it's still growing. So this is the Arlington location, and this is a prime location because the Highlands is right there, and everybody is so tired of the same old thing. I used to go to a beauty school down the street, Paul Mitchell, and on lunch. The only way I know about this area is just a few restaurants that's over here, but I know on lunch how everybody was just so tired of, like, you only have a few places to choose from that you can get something good.
I used to go to that soup and salad right there.
Yeah. It's only a few places, and I think bringing the culture to wherever you are and bringing your story along the way, that's amazing because it shows in everybody that supports it. It shows in the menu. It shows in the variety. And then I love the fact that you were saying about just the recipes, like how those are all generated from you and how you like are very hands-on with it. So you're not going to go to another location and experience something completely different.
Yeah, the thing is about the recipes, that everything was cooked in the seasons that we actually created. And those recipes came from our background of my grandmother, my aunts, my mother, and all that. So I just put it all together, from the catfish way it's cooked, from the collard greens way they made. And I just used this, which was manufactured now. It's an all-purpose seasoning that we use in all the meats, all the vegetables. If you get popcorn lover, you can even put it on popcorn.
Okay.
So it's all purpose. You can put it on anything.
So I need to throw away all the seasoning sauce, everything I got, and I need to just use it.
Just put it in the bag, and the next bridge you're going across, chunk across the bridge.
Season everything.
Yeah. And what I try to do is I test everything outside the restaurant.
Yeah.
So nobody really can understand what my mind frame is. So I want it addicting. If it's not addicting, it ain't gonna work.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the repetitive and wanting you to come back and get it more and more is what comes. And some people go back, I'm just going to say in some restaurants, people go back because of the name of it.
Right.
And they keep going back over and over and over. And then when they get something bad, they they tear it down
Yeah.
and tear it to pieces.
Right.
Thing is about it, I want to be able. We got 100 people an hour coming here, and one person has something to say wrong.
Right.
I think that's still good. That's 1%. I don't want that one person to have something wrong, but I even figured out and I researched that machines break down.
Yeah.
So if you have a staff that within a 6 or 7 hour frame, you came here. I'm just saying you came to a restaurant in the morning time and the food was excellent.
Yeah.
Then the restaurant closed at 10 p.m. and you went at 9:30 and like, man, I went at closing, the food was terrible.
Right.
Well, that same employee that's been in the kitchen for 8 hours, his productivity and his mind is tired, so he's moving tired.
Right.
So you're not gonna get the same taste in the field that you get. But if right when that employee getting tired, you shift changing and bringing in fresh bodies, at 9:30 the food tastes just as good as it did at 7 in the morning.
Right.
So I researched that and figured that out too. And I'm making those adjustments because I pay attention to my reviews. I pay attention to each customer and all that because, man, good food, and when I say where we feed your soul, that I really want
Yeah.
You can't feed somebody's soul, it wasn't addicting.
Right. And that's smart because that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if somebody come at a certain time, but I feel like even with those reviews, just what I've noticed about just reviews in general, even that one bad review, it makes somebody, it kind of overshadows every good review. Because then they're like, okay, now let me go and see if that's really the case. Like, let me see if the catfish really was like this.
Right.
And I feel like it helps in a way, but I love the fact that you're like trying to make every change to make people feel. This is all about how people feel when they walk away. And I'm so like that's for me. Over the food, even though I'm a major foodie, if I feel good when I leave, I keep coming back.
Right.
Regardless.
Right.
But if I feel like, okay, like I went in there, the music wasn't on point, I didn't feel at home, I could have ate this at home, which here, as soon as you walk in the door, you're like, okay.
And then that, to the point where you're saying, I want to be able to where the food's good, the music is good, and you look up and I want to have an atmosphere and a vibe where you feel like you want to pull your shoes off.
Right.
And relax. And
Right.
you know how when you relax, you popping your toes,
Right.
like you cracking up. That's what I want.
Because I haven't even ate yet, and I'm ready for a mimosa, a mattress. I'm just going to take a nap.
that right there is what vibe. And when I look at the reviews, they say good food, good service, and the vibe and the music was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a hip hop head. I love them. I'm 52 and I still like rap
Yeah.
music. But I won't let them play it in here.
Yeah.
But when the doors is closed and they clean it up, they trap it out.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah,
in here
for
with
sure.
them.
You're gonna have a Saturday trap night or something.
Never.
You said no, those days are over.
Never. We still got the club for that, though.
Yeah.
We can do that. But
Yeah.
here, though, I'm going to be like Kevin. No. Take that to the paint.
There will be no ass shaking here.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you. 'Cause it's a thin line.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's a thin
I
line.
come from that background, though, man.
Yeah.
A little twerk a little bit, but once again, the vibe and the atmosphere, sometimes, you know, you can't. That's what we do. We dance. We like to party, but you can't. You gotta have people be able to relax, especially
Yeah.
our culture.
Yeah.
If you playing that music for them, the twerk and all that, they're gonna do that. So you just gotta expect
And
it.
it's happen every time.
Every
Every
time.
day. It's gonna turn into a club real
I've
quick.
been in here, sitting right there doing some work, and it'd be 4 or 5 dudes sitting right here together with big jewelry on, you know, big businessmen, big entertainment, big ballers, and they singing Keith Sweat songs, waiting on their waffles.
Right.
So I wanted to allow this atmosphere for our gangsters to put their guns down.
Yeah.
Leave your guns in the car. They comfortable coming in here. They don't have to carry their guns in here. Then
Right.
they got a no gun sign on there too. So if you can't come in, then I don't say names. I've seen a few people I know from the street come in here with their baby and their girlfriends now.
Right.
Usually they don't go nowhere without their shooters.
Right.
So this atmosphere is for everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, every culture has been coming in here with their family. And I've been asking them how they've been hearing about it. Everybody say the same thing. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So those things is working.
Yeah.
And I always look at I said, man, I got another hit record. I feel like I want to hit wonder.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm put this way, I've managed artists. I've had a big record. I used to manage B-Ham that had to do Ricky Bobby song. So this is like a hit record to me, and he knows my journey.
Yeah.
Fat Pimp knows my journey. I just manage Fat Pimp. He knows my journey.
Okay, come on with the gems.
This right here is like a hit record to me.
Yeah.
You know how a hit record go.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. I don't care how whack somebody think
Right.
else it is.
It's gonna keep going.
Gonna keep going. You just got to be ready when the wave go back down. You got another hit back there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be able to bring it right back. Okay. Well, I know you say you're expanding. So what's the next stops?
We got Cedar Hill coming up, hopefully in about 90 days. And the next one, we got Redbird District. That's probably around the same time frame too, so 6 months. Our plan and our goal in 2 years to have about 20, and then we'll franchise. The reason why we wait so long for 20 is because we want to be able, me and my business partner want to be able to, if you buy a franchise, we have the support, you know how much it costs, you know how much your staff need to be paid, you know how many staff members you need to start with. We have an office where all the training go, where you come in for a seven week orientation. So all the support, when you spend your money for one of these, you have 1,000%.
Yeah.
So when you turn the key on the door, it's moving just like that. You're going immediately into recoup mode, knowing the right employees and the right staff members. Without any questions, if we feel like if you start a franchise too fast and you hadn't developed your foundation under 5 or 10 yet, and you still have obstacles because 3 stores is carrying the other store, you still got an unbalanced situation, which I call a 2-legged bar stool. That tripod can't sit up with two legs on
at
it.
all.
Gotta have 3.
Yeah.
So without those 3 legs on that bar stool, you can't sit on it.
Yeah.
So to that foundation is that strong, that's when we'll start franchising. We've been having people already asking us.
Interested in franchising. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket because I
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go to strip club route, you know. I like that method.
Yeah.
Barbershop, you know.
Yeah.
Something. But yeah, I know you're a busy man. I definitely I'm inspired by your story for sure. Hopefully everybody listening is inspired. But the takeaway for somebody that's sitting around, they don't know what to do with their life, they confused, they may have just got out of college, they think they have to have everything right. What would you say to them to motivate?
Well, I always look at it this way. You born in this world to figure out what it is you do, and God always have it. Sometimes we just ignore it. It took me this long to figure out what my gift was. I ignored it. I was doing everything else before. So now at the end of the day, you can't sit around. Whatever it is that you love and you like is usually not the thing that you want to do. The thing you want to do, I'm gonna tell you, it's just like I always got to bring it back to music. Sometimes the biggest records that artists have is the ones that they didn't like. The ones you fall in love with is the ones that don't work. So usually look at the stuff that you know you're good at but you don't like. You may be an artist and you don't like drawing, but you're too busy trying to sell the paint. Who you want to be? The grave digger or the dude that owns the shovel company? Nothing against the grave digger, but I want to own the shovel company.
Because that's always going to be needed.
Always.
Okay. Drop them gems. All right. Well, you know I done held you up long enough. Y'all, I am ready to eat. I'm about to throw down. I'm going to show y'all everything I get. Come to Breakfast Brothers here in Arlington and every other location. Ricky, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Like,
Thanks for
when I
having
tell
me.
you that story, like, y'all, if y'all not motivated by now, I don't know what to tell you. You know, and you know, you already know the voice. You don't even have to see my face because it's another Dallas, Texas check. Let's go.
Good.
Mm-hmm.